Hey Dosies, I'm Pris.
And I'm Taylor. You're listening to The Dose of It.
We're just two best friends on our wellness journeys, learning, growing, unlearning, and sharing it all with you along the way.
Now, we're not doctors or professionals, just two girls figuring it out and talking about all the real stuff, the good, the messy, and everything in between.
So grab whatever you're sipping on.
Because here's your weekly dose.
I think we're good. That's enough for
I trust us. We're good.
Hello, Dosies. Welcome back to another episode. We are so happy that you are here. My name is Pris. My beautiful co-host's name is Taylor, and together we are the Dose of It. We are here to give you your weekly dose of whatever it is that you want to take this week. Hopefully it's us and maybe a shot of espresso, orange juice, water for your little hydration check.
Water.
Make sure that you got that thing on you. And when I mean that thing, I mean your cup. Because, girl, we're going to be clocking it this week. We're going to be clocking it this episode. Stay hydrated. It's a new year, but you got these same goals that you got to reach. You're evolving, and we're here to help you.
New year, same old moldy tumbler, but better
Moldy.
the water moldy. Because when's the last time you guys washed your tumbler? Because mine probably a month ago. And I know
I have
there's
a friend. I have a friend that cleans hers every day, and I'm like, I wish that I was like
she's
you.
psychotic because I can't do that. Psychotic in the best way though, because I don't want to look inside my straw. I know there's black mold in there.
Live, I can't. I just know there has to be liver guts in that shit.
You can't even see yours though, liver, because yours is dark. I can at least see down mine.
No, mine's clear, bitch. The hydro has clear.
No, your straw.
Well, that part I'm just going to avoid.
So, yes, guys, welcome back to yet another episode. We are super excited. It is our first episode of the new year. So, we are, of course, excited to have you guys here with us for another year of The Dose of It.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to be shoving the resolutions down your throats. And one of them, of course, is going to be drinking your water. So many of you guys tell us, like, yeah, I barely have a water bottle a day. Well, guess what? We're getting back into hydration checks because you know what? We've been forgetting those sometimes.
We have been forgetting.
Yeah.
Also, I want to shout out all of the new listeners. I feel like over the past week, girl, we have been kicking it off. You guys are showing up and showing out. Like, we can't even believe the fact that we are almost at what? Like, I forget because we're
600 subs,
600.
600. I did kind of say it like that. 600 on YouTube, 600 on Spotify, I believe. We're like getting there.
Yeah, and I know that when we say 600, you guys are probably like, okay, but that's crazy. Okay, it's crazy because me and Taylor, we never thought we were going to get to this many people. And just like to know that you guys look forward to hearing us talking in your ear every week. It's just kind of crazy. I will literally cry if I talk too much about it because I love you guys so much. Also, I want to shout you guys out because I just want you to know that when you guys leave a comment on our videos, on our Spotify episodes, we genuinely read them and we feel so much love. And it just reminds us why we do what we do. I also want to just kind of put it out there that if you're not following or if you're not subscribed, click that subscription button, click that whatever it is on Spotify and Apple. Make sure that you are subscribe to The Dose of It because so many of you guys listen to us weekly, but you're not subbed and you get notifications when we post.
Yeah.
So make sure that you guys are hitting that follow button, hitting that subscription button, and just staying tuned, or what is it? Staying on the ride of The Dose of It. Because girl, we're here. We're here this year and we about to show y'all a good time.
Yeah, we would love to have you guys. Definitely. We were running over our analytics and it said like over almost half of you guys do not follow or subscribe when you listen to us. So they're like,
I'll bring up with this.
Yeah, like what are you doing? So please give us a follow so you can get the reminders when we post. We would absolutely love to have you guys as our followers, subscribers, whatever it may be. We're just super grateful for you guys and we're so grateful to be going into the new year with you guys.
Yeah.
This episode, Liver, we're kind of popping into the new year with a really good topic, I think, for the episode. Like, we're super excited to dive into this. We're coming in hard. We're coming in strong and hard, strong, zany. Oh my God. We're so sorry. We're so sorry. Beep, beep, beep. We're coming into the new year with a great topic. We're super excited to dive into this with you guys. We are talking about our relationship with food. Now, everyone's is going to look different. Everyone's journey is going to look different. This is just our personal experience with food and being on a GLP-1, but we are excited to dive into the rotis of this week's episode.
Yes, we really are. And again, I just want to put that disclaimer out there that everybody's journey looks different. I always tell Taylor that we're all the same, just different fonts. And, what we talk about might not look the same for you, but if it does look the same for you, we just want you to know that we see you, we hear you, and like you're not alone. And that's another reason why we want to come on this episode and talk about food, because I do think that it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. And we want to be able to talk about what we're experiencing. And I think it's also nice because maybe what Taylor's experiencing, I'm not. Or maybe we are experiencing the same thing and you are too. And you're like, wait, this is actually normal. So, big disclaimer that this is just what we both experience personally. If you don't experience that, it's totally okay. And you are normal too. You're not broken. Everybody is just different. And that's the beauty of a journey because it's not always going to look the same, but we're all hoping to get to the same end goal. So, I'm really excited to dig into the rotis with you today, Liver. But before we even get into the beef of the episode, or should I say chicken? Before we get into the
Rotis?
chicken, yeah, before we get into the rotis, Liv, we need to do a hydration check. And after the hydration check, I want to follow up on your New Year's, bitch. How the frick was
Yes.
your New Year's? Let's do a
Okay,
hydration
yes.
check though, because I'm feeling a little
Hydration
parched.
check. Yeah.
What are you drinking over there, Liv?
I'm just drinking some good old H2O. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking that water, girl. Also, I see that
That
hydro
water?
flask. You pulled that out of the attic, or is that a hydro? What is that?
Hydro flask. It's a hydro jug.
What the fuck? Wait, hydro flask. Do you remember those? It was
Everyone
like
who was anyone in high school or middle
no,
school.
it was the scrunchy girls,
Bisco girl.
the
Bisco girl.
Bisco
Yeah.
girls, they had the hydro flasks,
Yes.
period. Literally me calling it a hydro flask as I'm holding a hydro jug is crazy.
Honestly, I'm kind of loving, like, if you guys remember, Pris went through, she was only Stanley girly. She's like, I love my Stanleys and my Simply Moderns. And then she got on her Owala trip. And then she drank out of a hydro jug and it wouldn't open. She ended up hating it. And she's like, fuck a hydro jug. I'm never using it again. Well, this week she's over here sipping on a hydro jug. Live.
Say though, I love my hydro jug, but I think I love the design of the like
I love it.
I love the
The
checkered
matte and
moment.
glossy. That's
If you
cute.
are listening to us on audio, this is like a matte and glossy hydro checkered cup. And I do like it. My heart will belong to an Owala, though. I will say my heart
Mm-hmm.
belongs to an Owala. Liver put me on. Owalas are just that girl,
They're
honestly.
cutesy.
They're portable. You can go on a hike with them. You can smack people with them. Honestly, I saw this video on TikTok the other day. Totally like scroll moment. I saw this video on TikTok the other day of this guy. He was getting like there was a burglary going on in his home, and I know that it's like crazy, right? But he didn't have anything on him, and he had a fucking Owala. He had an
No.
Owala, and he whacked the robber. Is that what they're called? A robber? Yeah. He
Yeah.
whacked the robber, and the robber literally passed out. He called the cops. The other one fled, and his Owala, he literally made a video. It had a big ass indention in it from
Wait,
how
so
the heart.
Owala better sponsor him and give him all
Yes.
the
Yeah, and he was like, "An Owala literally saved my life. Like, an Owala saved my life."
us want a water like on a wallet like helps us like reach our water goal, but like this poor guy like actually
Actually, like, and he like the wallet literally had like a fucking head indention in it.
that would
And
be
the
you.
crazy, no, tell me why yesterday I was on my walk and we're getting so microscopic. Like, girl, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fly away just with a fucking gust of
right.
wind. And I was like, what about when I start getting real fucking tiny? Like all these men are gonna be like, hold up,
No, because I
me
know
being
exactly.
me being delusional as fuck. I'm like, fucking hide your man, because I'm literally gonna be fucking out here
No,
strutting.
but I have to say I know exactly what you're talking about because my excuse when I was like almost 400 pounds, I would always say, well, at least I'm fat and nobody could ever kidnap me. Like I would literally say like, well, I'm too big to get kidnapped. And then
No,
I've
bitch, we're
literally
being like this.
I've literally thought about the fact that like now that I'm like losing weight, I'm like, wait, fuck, like now I'm susceptible to being kidnapped again.
No,
Like
me
what's
too, bitch. And like literally delusional as fuck. Like, I just know the haters are like, bitch, you weigh 300 pounds. Ain't no one gonna fucking pull you over their fucking shoulder. Chill out.
two men and they got it. They're done.
No,
Like
two
that's
men though grabbing us, and you know what? So I was like drinking my Owala yesterday. I was like chilling at the park, and I was like, wait, I need to like look into
you need a
getting
taser or
something. Like, I
something,
need a
right?
taser. I need a. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. I've
A
never had to
Glock.
worry about it. I'm like, hot girls, what do y'all keep on y'all? And I was like, wait, I literally have my what is it?
Oh, voila.
My fighting tool in my hand right here.
Yeah.
It's my Owala. Like, I will whack someone. A fool.
Rotis in the right hand, a walla
Imma
in the
have a
left.
Imma have to eat that rotis, have the bone, and sharpen the bone, and literally attack these fuckers.
Honestly, fuck the rotis like in the tools in the tool bag. Like we're not talking about like your GLP-1 tools. We're talking about like how to fight off a robber.
A straight up rotis, like, dude, keep that thing on you. I just know that back in the days, dude, when they used to eat the chickens, like, straight up,
They
I'm
use
sure they
those
kept the
bones as
bones.
knives.
Our
Right.
toothbrushes, everything.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well, you know
we
what that does
will
lead us that does
that
lead us
does lead us. Well, getting right into it. This actually is wow, how was your New Year?
how was my New Year's? You know what? My New Year's, you're right. I'll start. My New Year's was good. It's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know if like you said last episode, if my frontal lobe is truly just developing. Like, I really do just think it's developed. Like, can you see my third eye right now?
I see it.
Because yeah, I've never been like a big party girl, but every now and then I do like to go out. I like to like, celebrate the new year, whatever, get a little tipsy or whatever. This year I was like, Puff, I want to be in bed by like 10:30. Like, let's just call it a day. Stranger Things came out, which is if you're a Stranger Things watcher, Landslide came on. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Literally, Purple Rain, get away from me. That was
Purple Rain. I was like,
my god, dude, that was insane. Insane.
Purple
We're not gonna
Rain.
talk too much about Stranger Things because I don't wanna ruin it for anyone that hasn't watched it, but I liked the season finale. I know that there's been a lot of, like,
It was
mixed
good.
things about it, but I think it was a good little closure moment for everyone.
Yeah.
But we watched Stranger Things, we were in bed by, like, 10:30. I forgot it was New Year's Eve when there was fireworks going off outside my freaking window. I woke up like this. I was like, "Who the fuck? Who the fuck?"
Rotissa Walla, who the fuck?
I said, "Hello?" I was like, "Who the fuck out there?"
Bro.
I said, "I just know one of y'all followed me from the trail this morning. Damn, I know I look good, but y'all outside my window at fucking 11
She
at
grabbed
night."
her Walla off the nightstand, y'all.
I went to the kitchen, grabbed my fucking rotis from
Her
the trash.
Rotisserie.
I woke up and I was like, "Oh shit, it's 4th of July. Shit,
It's
it's
the
New Year."
4th of July. It's the 4th of July. I'm about to pop some fireworks. Did we have crack before we filmed this episode?
I think we did. I think we did. But I was like, "Oh shit, like that's why the fireworks are going off." But I could not go back to bed. Like, I don't know about you, Liv, but like I can wake up with the drop of a feather. And
No.
okay, I love that for you. I could not go back to bed. And these people were not. I get it, dude. Go off with your bad self. Like, pop those fireworks. They were going off till like 2 in the morning. I'm like, okay, dude, it's already 2026. We're deep in it already. Like, go ahead and go to bed. So, but yeah, honestly, like I was chilling New Year's Eve. How was yours?
Period. How was my New Year's? So it was pretty good. I also experienced people popping a bunch of fireworks outside. Me though, I think I slept right through them. I remember hearing them as I was falling asleep, and I fell right asleep. Like I can sleep through quite a bit of shit. So like I
You
just
slept through the fireworks, dude?
yeah, I can sleep through that shit.
That's pretty impressive. I
Yeah.
wish I could do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I grew up in a loud house, so I feel like I'm kinda used to, like, sleeping through, like, loud shit. I also watched the Stranger Things finale, and I liked it a lot. Like, we were just, like, gasping, like, there was, like, so many we were like, "Oh my god," like, there were so many really exciting things. Certain parts of it, like, we won't, like, spoil it, obviously, but I feel like certain parts, I was like, "Why did it only take, like, 5 minutes to do that?" And I was like, "But the whole, like, 5 seasons, like, built up to, like, the strength of, whatever." But, it was really good. I liked it. That was fun. I stayed up and watched the ball drop, like, on YouTube and, like, watched it, like old-timey, like, watching the ball drop. I'll never understand why these grown adults stand in New York City. I guess it's like, the vibes or whatever, but,
Maybe you could like cross it off your checklist, like this is what I
yeah,
did.
but, they wear diapers
You're
because
fucking lying to me.
there's nowhere to pee in Times Square. So you also can't lose your spot. Like, everything's shut down. So they wear diapers or they, like, pee into, like, bottles and stuff.
No, girl, the only time I'm wearing a diaper is when I'm on my period. And I will never do that unless I really have to. But damn, that's crazy.
No,
That's dedication for
they
sure.
pee into the diapers. So as I was watching the ball drop, I just thought about how there was, like, 10,000 adults in diapers in the crowd.
I
So
just know it stank.
I just know it stank too. But yeah, my New Year's was good. I don't really have much to say about it. I also stayed in. I love staying in. I'm not really like a partier. So
Yeah.
I stayed in, watched Stranger Things, watched the ball drop, played some Call of Duty, Call of Dirty. And
Call
yeah.
it dirty. I love that, Liv. Isn't it kind of crazy like how all the holidays are over now? And like
No,
we
I'm
were
depressed.
it's
I'm
just
depressed.
crazy to me. I was just talking about Christmas and we've already passed Christmas. And I feel like we were just talking about Thanksgiving like yesterday.
I literally said it a few episodes back, but we were just talking about your birthday. I
I
can't.
know. That's insane to me. And the crazy part about it, like I know obviously we're a GLP-1 podcast, so I'm going to talk about a GLP-1. But, before holidays, I would always think about food and like I would associate them with food and like what am I going to eat? What am I going to go ham on this year? And I feel like this year for me, holidays were not about food at all.
Mm-mm.
Like I ate normally. I ate a normal meal. I didn't overdo it. I really didn't even worry about it the next day. I was like, I just ate like a normal amount. What about, I mean, do you feel the same?
Yeah, I feel the same way, honestly. Like, I also used to fixate like, Thanksgiving, oh my god,
Oh
I was
my God.
drooling for Thanksgiving, and Even, like, Christmas, so whenever I had Christmas at my family's this year, get one of our aunts brings over fudge. That's, like, her thing, she always brings over fudge, and it's fire.
Mhm.
And if I was near that container of fudge, I was eating at least 10 pieces.
You're going
It
in
was
town.
I was going to town. It was literally right next to me while we were eating dinner. I had 1 piece of fudge.
Period
And I
liver.
was just like, I'm satisfied by it, you know? And,
Yep.
like, my uncle even, like, laughed and was like, "Is that all you're gonna eat, Taylor?" And I was like, "Yeah," because like, I'm like, that was, like, satisfying for me, you know?
Aw,
So, like, that was crazy. Yeah, like, I feel like I used to just be
I love
so
that.
yeah, like, food used to be such an obsession over the holidays.
Like,
Yeah, and I also
you listen
didn't
to your body. Shout out to you,
yeah.
Liv. I'm proud of you. Well, I'm very happy that your New Year's Eve was honestly perfect. I feel like that's what you needed, especially after, your Christmas situation,
Yeah.
and just, like, to wrap up the year, it was, like, super peaceful, and I love that.
Mhm.
I think that's actually a really great way to kinda get into the rotis of the episode because obviously, your fudge, food for the holidays, all that kinda stuff. Let's just acknowledge the elephant in the room, right? Food is fucking scary. It scares a lot of people. And, I'll be real. I will speak from experience. Sometimes when I think of food, I think of my old self. The other day, I was sitting on the couch. I was eating a bag of candy because we were watching a movie. And I couldn't help but maybe have a little bit of PTSD from when I used to sit on the couch and maybe binge, and eat a bag of candy, eat a bag of chips. And I was like, wait, Pris, are you going back to the old you right now? Are you going back to your old habits? And
Mhm.
I think when a lot of people talk about food or when you're on a wellness journey, when you're on a GLP-1, you think that it's supposed to stop you from eating. I'll be honest, when I first started my GLP-1 journey, I immediately thought if I took this shot tomorrow morning, I'll wake up not hungry.
You're not gonna be
And I
hungry.
will wake
Yep.
up and I will be dissociated from food. And that's all I ever really wanted in my life because I had such a bad relationship with food that I could not wait until the day where I was not obsessed with food. And I think even now, I speak to so many people, we speak to so many people that are so afraid of eating and they associate food with being fat because
Mhm.
we've been big our whole life. And I think that it's such a valid thing to be afraid of. Honestly, I mean, I've grown up with food my whole life. I mean, food is fuel, but to a lot of us, it doesn't click that way in our brain that food is fuel, especially when you're stepping on the scale and you see the numbers go down. You see yourself dropping pant sizes, dropping clothing sizes. You can't risk getting it all back. You're afraid to go back. And, when you start to get hungry, when you start to eat like a normal human being should, you start to get scared. And so I want to talk about food. I just want to talk about it because we're an honest and truthful podcast, right? We'll never sugarcoat things for you guys.
Mm-mm.
It is something that me and Taylor deal with. And I think it's important that as we go into the new year, we stop telling ourselves that food is the enemy because it's not an enemy. It's actually something that we truly do need to fuel our bodies. And I just want to get into healing with food. So let's get into it, Liver. This is our heart. This is the rotis of the episode. And I'm super, super excited to be able to dig deep in here and really get to it because I know that people that are listening to this are struggling with it. I know that it's a very sensitive subject for a lot of us. So, let's get into it, Liv.
Yes, let's dive in to the rotis. I think you made a lot of great points. Like a lot of us are still very much scared of food, and there's a fear around food because a lot of us growing up, a lot of us even in our adult lives, don't know how to act around food. We were never really taught a proper relationship with food. A lot of us, I think that's why we've reached towards a GLP-1
Mhm.
because we kept hearing, at least for me especially, I kept hearing that it's something that can heal your relationship with food and that it helps kind of take away that addiction factor with food. And so I remember I started doing my research and stuff and I said, okay, like maybe this is a medication for me. And so, maybe a lot of us started realizing, hey, we have this addiction to food. And that's why we started leaning towards a GLP-1. We realized that there was a problem. So I'd love to kind of get into like, our early stages of being on a GLP-1 and like how we felt and, what was that transition like? So can I kind of like dive in and like ask you, like, what was your relationship like with food before you started a GLP-1?
For sure. I feel like my relationship with food before I started a GLP-1 was something that I would use to cope. Anything that I felt, I would turn to food. And I know that it has to be like a deep rooted thing for me. It probably has to do with my childhood somewhere, some way or another, it has to do with my childhood.
Hmm.
But anytime that I would feel any sort of emotion, I leaned to food. And I knew it was an issue. I mean, I was 377 pounds. I knew that it was an issue. I just didn't know how to turn it off. And I didn't think I could turn it off. My relationship with food was really bad. I could not stop eating. When I was full, I couldn't put down the plate. I could not stop myself. And, I would lay in bed sometimes and I would be eating and I would know that I'm not
Mhm.
hungry. I would know that I'm full and I would just continue to do it to feel something. And I know that a lot of people can relate to going to the fridge, opening it up, not finding anything you like, and then going to sit down and going back to the fridge maybe 20 minutes later. What could I find in here? I have to find something in here. It's like you think that the fridge is going to pop out a new food item for you, and I would keep going back to the fridge, opening it, closing it until I finally would just start eating things that I weren't even good or didn't sound even good. I would just eat it. And, I had a really traumatic relationship with food. I would just go to it when I needed to feel something and I still wouldn't feel anything. I mean, yeah, I would go away for a little bit, but then it would come back and I'd feel terrible. Like, why did I just do all of that? Why did I just eat all of that, especially when I was full?
Yeah, liver. I love that you kind of touched on those things because I think that brings us into a lot of, or it brings us into a feeling a lot of us experience where it's a cycle of food shame and food guilt. And where that cycle kind of starts is we'll feel guilty about something that we ate. And maybe we would turn into a cycle of, tomorrow I'm not going to eat. And you go into like a shame cycle. But then the next day you end up binging something and it's just a constant like you're guilty. Why did I eat this? Why did I do this to myself? I'm ashamed. I don't know about you, but I would a lot of times like lock my door as a kid and like sneak food into my room because I felt so guilty. It was like
Yes.
hiding under a blanket
Yeah.
and like just like eating the food because I felt guilty and ashamed of what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people will connect with what you said of like that just that like relationship with it growing up and wondering where it stems from. Have you ever like experienced like locking your door, like kind of like hiding food from people or like just doing it in such like a shameful way? You're like, I'm ashamed.
Dude, yes. And you know what's crazy? You just brought up like a core memory in my head. You ever feel like somebody unlocks like something, like a memory in your
Yes.
head,
Like
and
I
you're like,
took the key and
wait,
I'm like, yeah,
yeah, you
uh-huh.
just did that. I remember, so I grew up in a household of four kids, and I'm the oldest sibling, and I'm the biggest. I grew up being big my whole life, truly.
Mhm.
And my younger sister, she's like tiny. And I'm just like, there's no way that we came from the same tree, girl. So I remember it was like nighttime and I don't know. I'm telling y'all, like I would always just want to binge always. And so I remember I'd be like, hey, are you hungry right now? And she's like, I don't know, maybe. And I'm like, you should go to the kitchen and get food for us.
Yes, I used to do that to my little brother all the time
I
because
would be like, you should go get us something to eat, preferably a sandwich with like chips. I don't know if you feel like maybe adding a little bit of like dip or something in there, you
the
could. You
chips and
could.
ice cream and,
Yeah, and she would do it. She would go to the kitchen, and my parents didn't think anything of it. I mean, she was eating and, she was already small, so, like, why not keep eating, right? If I would have done it, though, they would have been like, "Are you sure you should be eating that late? It's probably really unhealthy for you to be eating that right now." And so I just remember I would ask her, I'm like, "Can you go to the kitchen and, like, whip us up something to eat? Because I think you're
yep,
hungry, right? Like, you know what sounds really good right now? A sandwich. You should go make one for me and you." And I remember she would go, and I remember we would call it like scavenging. Like she would get because we used to share a bed. I grew up super poor, you guys. Like when I tell you that we had a like home, it was a two house home, and me and my sister we shared bed, and my brother would sleep in the living room on the couch. So me and my sister we would share the same bed. It's actually really cute. Like we would have like braless nights where we wouldn't wear like a bra to bed.
aw,
I would sit with my feet facing her head and, like, her feet would be facing my head, and we would have, like, a camping night where we would, like, camp under the sheets, and I remember those were my favorite, okay, because I would have her go get snacks in the middle of the night. It was, like, midnight, and I'd be like, "Hey, girl, I know you know what time it is, girl. You're
I know you
hungry.
hungry. Yeah.
I know
I know
you
you
hungry,
hungry.
so go to the kitchen and get us a snack." And she would go, and, for some reason, I would help my guilt because 'cause I'm like, "Well, I'm not the one making it,
Yeah,
so
it's not me. Yeah,
it's
it's
not
like
me. I
she's
can
the one
eat
that's
it."
hungry. Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Like my little brother and I did that a lot to him because I feel and you kind of said it, but my parents watched my eating more than anyone. Like it was just like a thing. I mean, and again, I was also like the biggest sibling, so I understand like why in a sense. But no, I definitely manipulated my sibling as well to be like, yeah, hey, look, hey, you're hungry. Go into that kitchen and grab me an ice cream bar, all right?
Yeah.
So
Well, when you said, like, "Did you ever lock your doors?" I'm like, "You know what? Like, I did not lock my doors because I would want my sister to go out there and get it. Go
yeah.
out there and get us that food."
Mine was so bad where I remember as a kid, like, I would sneak stuff from, like, our kitchen and, like, plates and, like, forks, whatever it may be, I would hide them under my bed and I'd throw, like, blankets over them. So, like, my family didn't see them or, like, my mom didn't, like, come in my room and, like, see, like, the plates that I used the night before and stuff that I was eating. And I've said this story on here before, but I've literally the chicken tender gate where, like, I was caught in the middle of the night by my older brother heating up chicken tenders in the microwave, and he,
Mhm.
like, snitched to my stepmom the next day that I was sneaking food in the middle of the night, and then the cabinets got locked, and I was like, "Fuck you." So, like,
That's
I
crazy.
yeah, like, I just used to do that stuff all the time, and I can't help but to make me wonder, like, what as a little kid like, we were little, like, I'm talking, like, I was anywhere from, like, 5 to, like, 10, like, doing these things, even older, but, like, me being at such a young age, like, what triggered us to, like, begin this addiction with food? Like, because you said it, like, your sibling didn't really, like you were the one that was like, "Hey, go get food."
Yeah,
I was also that way, like, what in our mind, like, really triggered? Like, I wonder, like, what emotion,
yeah.
like, we were triggering that, like, really I don't
Well,
know, like, what happened?
I think when I think of an emotion to attach to food, if I'm being truly honest, I think I would say embarrassed because I was embarrassed when I would go to a table with food.
Mhm.
I was embarrassed when I would still be hungry after everybody was done eating. I was embarrassed making food late at
Yes.
night, and I knew it was not good for me. I knew that I shouldn't be eating this late at night. I knew I shouldn't be eating all of this food, but I couldn't stop. I really just didn't know how. It was like a thing in my brain that was just like, eat more, eat more, eat more.
Yes.
And it was embarrassing because, everybody around me would have the same thing on their plate, maybe even more, but I was the only one that was big. So people would correlate food to being fat to being me. And I remember I hated bringing food to a table, especially like, I don't know about you, but I would avoid being the last one at the table because I would have to like
Yes.
bring the plate and sit down. And everybody, for some reason, it just feels like all eyes are on you. And
Mhm.
no matter how little you try to put on your plate, sometimes it just looks so much bigger. It feels like it's so much bigger to everyone around you. And I truly do think that it is a stereotype, right? Like even if you are really not eating that much, sometimes I feel like people they really do have fat phobia. And you could have the smallest things on your plate, but they're still going to be like you're going to eat all of that, but you have more on yours. You know what I mean? And it's hard because growing up it was always like that. I feel like everywhere I went, people had something to say about what was on my food, and I
Yeah.
was embarrassed. I wish my whole life that I was not like that. I hated being in a bigger body. I hated feeling like I was addicted to food and I had no control over myself because I thought food was the only one that was controlling me.
Yeah. No, I can totally relate to you. I mean, it's hard growing up that way and questioning like what's wrong with me cuz like you said like growing up my siblings, like my mom was the type of mom like where she made our plates. So I was kind of like and I don't want to say like we didn't really have control over like our portions and stuff growing up. Like my mom would plate our foods and stuff. So I didn't really have that experience of like bringing like food like my food to my table and like feel like I was being watched, but I feel like sometimes I would catch like maybe getting less portions than my siblings and stuff and I be like okay, this is kind of like not fun or maybe my little brother was allowed to have 2, crescent rolls and I was only allowed to have 1. And so,
Mhm.
like, things like that would kind of like, I felt, embarrassed because I had a big family. So some of my siblings were obviously treated different around food than me. And yeah, it's hard. Like I remember growing up, like, being put on Atkins and keto and having to do keto with like my stepmom and shit because like she thought that, I was too big for my age. It's like it's so hard growing up and it's being, it's like I'm watching my little brother not have to go through that or my older siblings not have to go through that. And it's like just constantly being like pinpointed out or like, pointed out and stuff and like not like really like bullied, but almost like it felt like we were being isolated and bullied, because we're like so many of us probably were like, I remember probably crying about it and being like, what's wrong with me? Like, what's different? And, now that we're older, we're able to understand we simply had an addiction that we couldn't help. Because like you said, like what the hell at like 8 years old was like it's not that I wanted to be that way. I didn't like love like I hated that I had to like binge and sneak food and stuff. But it was like I was treated as if like I was doing it on purpose. Like stop
Yeah.
fucking eating so much. Like, stop asking for cake and like all this stuff. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
really it's not something I felt like I could help.
Well, it's almost like when people would bully you for being fat,
Yeah.
you would think to yourself, like, you wish I was different, but so do I. I wish
Yeah.
that I was different too. I wish I
Yeah.
wasn't always thinking about food. And it's so much easier for people to say, like, just put the plate down, just put the fork down, just put the
Right.
food down. Dude, if I could put it down, I would have. You think I wanted to be 377 pounds? Like, you think I wanted to be made fun of my whole life? No
Mm-mm.
8-year-old should be called fat in the cafeteria. No, kid in elementary school wants to be called lard or pig or anything like that. I think it's just so fucked. And for people to be telling us things on the internet like everything but a diet, everything but eating healthy, everything but putting on the fork.
We've
Dude,
done it all.
I wish that you could see what I've tried. And
Yeah.
and it's crazy to me when people comment things like saying that we're fat and things like that, like as if we don't overanalyze our bodies every day in the mirror. Growing up, it was always just me being hard on myself and getting told that, put the fork down. Comments like that is like, I really wish I could. I really wish I could.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I completely like agree with you. I feel like that kind of leads me into my next question for you is that did you trust yourself around food back then?
That is a really hard question, and the reason I say that is because did I trust myself around food? I think I told myself I did to make myself feel better, but
Mhm.
I didn't. I didn't trust myself around food, and I'll be honest because I would tell myself that, like I said, to make myself feel better, and I tried all of the diets known, possibly, honestly, and it would never really work for me. I always come back to this, like there's, like, a moment in my head where I was like, "Okay, there's something really wrong about your relationship with food, Chris." Because there was a phase in my life where I wanted to be smaller because I had a really hard heartbreak, and the person that didn't want me was with somebody else that was, like, with a person half my size, and the first thing that came to my mind was that it's because I'm fat and I need to lose weight. So I remember I would eat maybe like tuna and a couple of crackers and oranges. I remember I was addicted to those cuties and I would only eat
Yeah.
the cuties. I would only eat cuties. And in my mind, I was like, cuties are good for you, Pris. Like they're gonna give you vitamins. Like you're gonna be energized. You're gonna. I don't even know. I would just lie to myself and tell myself that that was enough food. And I remember I would be hungry. I was so hungry because, like, I hadn't ate enough and I was so hungry, but I'm like, "Pris, you cannot eat anymore. Like, you will be fat if you eat more." And I think I've always just had a very bad relationship with food until recently. Until recently, like over the past year, I think I've been able to mend that relationship. And I think if you were to ask me that question now, do I trust myself around food? I do. I do trust myself around food. But before then, I think I would tell myself that I did trust myself around food when in reality, I didn't. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just wanted to not be big anymore, that if it meant hurting myself, I would do it. In the sense of hurting myself, like not fueling myself enough. And if it meant being hungry and going to bed hungry, then I would have to do it. And I know that that sounds so bad, but I didn't know. I just wanted to fit in so badly. I wanted to feel like I was pretty enough.
Yeah. No, I think that you hit the mark on everything. I think so many people are going to connect with you. A lot of times we ended up punishing ourselves even more because we were so mad at ourselves about how addicted we were or how uncontrolled we were around food that we ended up hurting ourselves in the long run and creating an even worse relationship with food. Little did we know, like we weren't able to control ourselves in any aspect around the food. It is not easy to sit here on this podcast and be vulnerable or on any kind of platform about how, we are addicted to food. So I admire you for doing that. I know a lot of people are going to feel very connected to you and say, oh my God, like I wasn't alone growing up. I think all this talk about food and all this stuff, like I think we're forgetting about the main thing. We're not really talking about water. And
God, we need to drink
feeling,
water. You're right.
I'm feeling so
Need to wash away
dehydrated. Since
our sins. Let's drink a little. Let's drink a little water, coffee, orange juice, adult beverage, whatever you're drinking on, just sip it.
whatever, protein shake, because you still need to hit those protein goals too.
Yeah, I hit those protein shakes. I know you haven't drank it. Girl, I know if you're listening to this podcast and you ain't drank nothing yet, I need you to get your ass up and go drink some
I'm
water
gonna need you to get your ass
now.
up. I
Right
don't
now.
care. Yeah.
Get your ass up.
Nerd check.
We're about to smarticle all over you, girls. So sit back and relax because we're about to give you some facts right here.
Okay, so new segment, girly. I'm like so excited. We had this idea of nerding out with you guys. Now, quick little, disclaimer moment. Neither one of us are medical professionals.
We're not.
We're not at all. Honestly, we kind of just want to talk a little bit about how a GLP-1 works.
Yeah.
And kind of just like dive into like the what happens when we start taking this and why does it help our relationship with food?
Girl, you are listening to a GLP-1 podcast, girl, so we owe you that.
We do owe you a little bit of nerd facts, okay? So y'all might see me kind of talking like this because I can't really see out these prescription glasses, all right? So this little segment, we're gonna do a little nerd check and it's gonna be different depending on what the topic is, but we're gonna nerd out on you guys. At the end of the day, it's a GLP-1 podcast like Liv said, so hey.
Don't mind if we do. Smarticle all over you.
Oh, y'all, don't give us a new segment because we're gonna annoy the shit out of you, okay? All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty, okay? What is a GLP-1 and how does it work?
What is it? Tell me, Liv.
What is it? What is it and how does it work? So a GLP-1 is a hormone that our bodies create naturally, okay? Our bodies already make it. Sometimes some of us have trouble creating said hormone, okay? A GLP-1 can help signal when we're full, when we're satisfied with the food, and also helps regulate our blood sugar. For many of us that have something like PCOS, typically it interferes with our insulin, therefore creating insulin resistance. So it makes said signals from our body not work.
They're off. They're not working. They need a mechanic to go in there.
The signals are firing, but nothing's responding,
The
okay?
signals are twerking.
The signals are twerking and jiggling, but the brain isn't responding, all right? So it was never that you were bad at listening to your body. It was when you were little, when you were 8 years old, 10 years old, and you started hitting puberty. If you noticed that's when it started getting bad around food, it's because your body just wasn't being heard, and it's normal. So you weren't not listening to your body. Your poor body just was twerking and it couldn't be heard, all right?
It was twerking. It couldn't stop. The twerkulator was playing in the background. Okay, so if you're like me and you're like, girl, what are you talking about here? Speak a little more English. I'm going to tell you, girl, what does this medication actually do for you? Because you might be asking yourself
What's
that.
it do?
And I'm going to tell you right now, it does not erase hunger. If you're
No.
feeling hungry, that's normal. You're not broken.
Nope.
It does turn down your food noise. And with that, sometimes it incorporates water noise. So sometimes you will feel not hungry. You might not feel as parched, but you still got to do it. You still got to do it. It does slow down your digestion. So you do get fuller quicker. It does last a little longer. So, if typically, you're hungry by a certain time of the day and you aren't feeling it, it's probably doing something to you. Okay. It does give your brain a little pause before you eat. So if you find yourself ordering a kid's meal, could be why. It could be why.
I just want to say, girl, and a little bit with that slowing down your digestion, if you notice that on this medication, you're meeting Raquel, which is Charlotte's cousin, Raquel.
Which is if you don't know either one of those terms, it's constipation.
Constipation is Miss Raquel, okay? You're pushing out rocks, okay? It's because your digestion is slowed down. And it's creating little Raquels in your
it's creating
in your
craters.
intestines. It's creating craters in your intestine, and you need to have fiber and magnesium in your diet and drink lots of water, right? All right.
And maybe take some Mago 7.
Yeah, there you go.
Mago 7. Now, this is not to say that a GLP-1 is going to cure you, girl, or it's going to be the superhero. Because at the end of the day, you know who's putting in the work? You. You are. So a GLP-1 is a tool. But at the end of the day, don't get that shit twisted, girl. You are still that bitch and you are still the one putting in the work.
Now, period to that. And a lot of you may be asking, we're kind of going to tie it in here and say, Pris and Tay, well, how the hell is this going to help my relationship with food? Well, okay, so what it does is it helps regulate and connects to your emotions around food. It creates less urgency around food. You heard us talking in the beginning about how holidays, we don't feel like we're searching for what is on the plate at the holiday function, okay?
We ain't looking.
We ain't looking. We don't care. We're worried about opening up the presents, all right? Less fear of losing control around the food. We're in control. Liv said now she feels like she's in control around the food, all right? Less mental bargaining around the food. If I eat this cookie today, then tomorrow I have to only eat a salad all day tomorrow. And we don't have to do that anymore because the GLP-1 is helping regulate our emotions around food.
Yes.
And we just have more food neutrality. Food is equal, okay? We don't have to be scared of eating a slice of pizza. Slice of pizza and a chicken breast, make it neutral. They're fuel, okay? Don't make them scared.
Make it neutral. If you're craving an ice cream, get the ice cream. Eat
The ice cream.
the ice cream. Because let me tell you, if you avoid that ice cream, you will look at that ice cream and have a negative mindset towards it. And the minute that you eat even just a scoop of it, you're going to spiral. So don't make a relationship with food be negative. Eat it in moderation. Before, food might have felt a little bit like a threat. But now, food is what? Say it with me. Food is fuel. We're going to say that one more time. Food is fuel. Good job, classroom. Food is a fuel. And you know what? A GLP did not fix me. It did not fix liver. It did not fix you. It just supported us while we are healing.
And ain't that the truth, Liver? Ain't that the truth? We are also doing the work on this journey, all right?
Liver, I cannot take you fucking serious now with those glasses like that hanging off your head.
I can't see. I have my contacts in and these are prescription.
If you are not looking at a video right now, I just want you to know that Liver's glasses are hanging all the way down her chin.
We just explained to you how a GLP-1 works. We hope that you loved our little nerd segment. And if you want more of these little nerdy, nerd out moments and you want us to bring over the facts to this little podcast, Molecule Facts, then let us know. But I'm taking these glasses off. Nerds out because my eyes hurt. Nerds out.
Liv, did we just get hacked or something? Who were those people?
I think we did. I don't know.
Guys, I'm scared. Who was that?
I don't know. I need my Awala. I'm getting
But they
scared.
really did feed us with a lot of great information, though.
Yeah,
I definitely did not know some of that, so I'm glad that
We'll have to bring
they
them on more.
incorporated that. We have to bring them on more because, like, what the hell? How did they know this was a GLP-1 podcast? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, weird.
Kind of crazy.
Kind of weird.
But let's get right into this again, Liv. I wanna keep digging into this rotisserie because I'm not full yet. I'm still wanting more.
Mhm.
I wanna know, let's dig into the fear of eating again. I know that you kinda touched down on this a little bit in the last episode, but I really do hope that you can get a little vulnerable here and let the listeners in because I think it's very important. Do you ever feel scared? You know, that if you eat normally again, that you're gonna lose control?
Yeah. Yeah, so I love that we kind of planned out this question here because yes, and it's something that has been really affecting me the last month. I made a decision in the month of December to go up in my dose, or maybe it was November. One of the either November or December, I made a decision to go from 10 milligrams up to 11 milligrams. And when I made that switch, I experienced a lot of nausea and my stomach started hurting a lot. And then I kind of just got this like severe food suppression. I mean, I it would be like 6 p.m. and I hadn't eaten anything. I had made my protein coffee in the morning and it got to 6 p.m. and I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't eaten anything today." Because I would stand up out of my bed, I would get off the couch, and I would get so dizzy I'd have to grip the wall. And I knew it wasn't because I was still drinking my water. I don't know what it was. It's just because I'm so used to drinking my water. I always have my water near me. I was still drinking my water, so I knew I wasn't dehydrated. I was simply malnourished as fuck because I wasn't eating. And I think that I was okay with that feeling for a while because I said to myself, well, this is just how normal people are supposed to eat. Maybe people just aren't supposed to eat until like 5 or 6. And, this is what the GLP-1's doing. It's helping me, just not eat as much as I used to. Because I found myself almost being addicted to the feeling of suppression, being so vulnerable with you guys. Because once you get so used to not thinking about food, when that food noise slips back in again, and you feel yourself saying, I want to order a pizza from Papa John's, I couldn't help but fear that 356-pound Taylor was coming back because those are some of the thoughts that I used to experience. And instead of me kind of grounding myself and saying, no, like sometimes you're going to have cravings and that's still normal, I kind of just kept pushing through the fact that I wasn't eating until 5 or 6 p.m. I kind of had a conversation with Liver because I said, do you feel this way? And what are you thinking? And what should I do? And she said, yeah, no, like this is bad. And I was like, yeah, you're right. This is bad. I kind of told her that I was dropping a pound a day, which is unhealthy. That's very, very, very unhealthy. And she was like, yeah, she's like, we probably shouldn't be doing that. You're probably not eating enough. And I was like, no, you're right. I'm not eating enough. And so I actually decided to lower my dose again, to go back down to 10 milligrams. Simply because I was like, it's okay to eat normally, right? It's okay to wake up in the mornings and want an egg sandwich, to want some breakfast, right? It's okay to, during the day, want a salad. And then it's okay later in the day to maybe want to go to dinner with your friend. You are supposed to, like, there's a reason why there's 3 meals a day, right? There's a reason why, like, your food is fuel. And I had to snap myself out of that scary, other form of ED mindset of like, I became addicted to the feeling of not wanting to eat. So to kind of circle back after that long, long story of me being vulnerable there is, do I ever feel scared that if I eat normally again, will I lose control? 100%. And I felt myself scared to eat normally. I found myself being scared around food again. And I'm currently working through not being scared of food.
Well, Liv, I am so proud of you for saying that because not only does that really, I think honestly, it helps you heal.
Hmm.
But it also helps anyone that's listening to this. And I know it can be kind of hard, right, to like look at someone or listen to someone on a screen or on your radio in your ear, and you forget almost that we're human. You kind of look at us and you're like, these people are perfect. Like I want to be just like them. And I think for you to say that you were struggling in that aspect is so real, is so raw because it reminds people that are listening to this that we are human and you struggle with something that they might be struggling too.
Hmm.
And we talk to a lot of people on a day to day basis. So many times I hear this. Well, I'm hungry again. And I think I need to go up on my dose. I'm
You
hungry. Like
want to
I've
be
been
hungry.
eating a lot and I think that maybe it's not working out for me. And I almost want to like go through the screen and I want to just tell you, dude, that's totally fine that you're hungry. Actually, being hungry is good. You should be hungry when you're on a GLP-1. I think that a lot of people before they start this journey, they scroll down this like rabbit hole and you so often see people I know that it's like meant to be funny of people saying like I'm not hungry or it's like those like funny
Mm,
memes, those funny sounds of people like, saying that ever since I started GLP-1 all I eat is like 3 carrots a day,
well,
I'm full
yeah,
after that or like I eat a piece of ham and I'm good for the rest of the day. And then it almost sets people up for failure because the minute that they start to actually feel hungry or want to eat, like you
they
said,
think something's
sandwich,
wrong.
or they want to eat a piece of cake, they think that they're broken and you automatically need to go up your dose or you automatically are fat again. And I say the word I even sometimes when I say the word fat, I'm like, "Fuck," fuck. It brings back memories. It brings me back to a place that I hate. And I just lately, I've just been trying to just say it, fat, 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 because it's like,
Take the power of the word back. I get what you're
take the
doing with that.
power of the word back because I'm
Yeah.
like, for so long, all I ever thought of myself was fat. And when you think of the word fat, sometimes honestly, a lot of people think ugly. And, I made a TikTok the other day. It was kind of funny, but it truly is real. Yes, I might be fat, but I'm not ugly. I'm not ugly. Yes, we might be bigger, but we're not ugly and we're not less worthy of anything. And I'm so proud of you for saying that you did struggle with, food because it is something that is so common. People, whether you're not eating enough, people sometimes think they're eating too much. And when in reality, you're eating like a regular person. You really are. And I really wish that if I could just go back in time and just like fix something with a GLP-1, it would be for people to stop believing and stop thinking that you could never eat again. And if you are eating, it means that you're broken because it's far from the truth. I tell Taylor this all the time. If you're hungry, please eat. Please eat. I'm so proud of Liv when she eats and she's hungry. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you for that. If
Yeah.
you're listening to this and you're like, I'm really hungry, but I shouldn't be eating. I'm
Go eat.
proud of you for eating. Be
Yeah.
proud for eating. Obviously, I'm not telling you to like binge, but if you're hungry, listen to your body and please, please eat. Please eat.
Yeah. I mean, so I kind of want to touch on a few things that you said, liver. I don't know, like my brain just started like flowing with like these juices. One is that I promise you guys, you don't want to lose that feeling of hunger. You want to keep that feeling of, oh my God, my stomach's growling, I'm hungry, because otherwise you can end up very sick from not eating. Like you don't want to be on the other end of it. As someone who, like I said, I was waking up or, I was getting up out of my bed at 6 p.m. and I would stand up and quite literally almost pass out. It's not fun. And I also kind of wanted to say something, obviously we're talking here about our relationship with food, and healing that addiction, how a GLP-1 can help heal an addiction, a relationship with food. Let's kind of like go and talk a little bit about how this is fucking hard. It's hard because if you look at people who go through an addiction, right? You look at someone who's an alcoholic. What do? They stop drinking alcohol, right? They go to rehab and they don't pick up a bottle of alcohol again. They tell themselves, I'm not going to touch this bottle of alcohol. Someone who is maybe addicted to opioids or, had a drug addiction, they're not going to ever pick up, their goal is to never pick up that drug again, to do whatever. They try to eliminate said factor. For us and someone who's struggling with a food addiction, we have to still eat fucking food. We can't just say, I'm never going to touch this food again, right? We can't just say, I'm going to drink water. I get to just put food down. I'm addicted, so I'm going to put food down and never touch it again. And I think that's why it's so hard because we have to reframe what food means for us. We can't just throw it away and say, I'm never touching food again. So we have to heal from the addiction and then learn how to use this in a pretty quick, like, people who maybe was an alcoholic, they can, they heal the addiction and they don't touch alcohol for maybe 5 or 10 years. And then later down the road in 10 years, they try to redevelop their relationship. But for the most part, they keep the trigger away, right? They keep the alcohol away. For us, we have to still eat food every single day. So what I'm trying to say is it's hard when we're healing with this food because we can't just take away the subject of addiction. We have to still eat food every single day. So I think that's why a lot of us go through this fear of, am I going to lose control? Am I going to know how to act around it? Is it still I'm still eating. I'm still hungry. And I think that's why so many of us go through that mindset of, oh my God, I'm still hungry. I'm still eating because it's like, whoa, wait, this is supposed to fix my addiction. But a lot of us forget that we still need food. We still have to eat food does that make sense? Like my analogy?
No,
Like I was
live.
just
Like,
kind of like,
actually, that's
wait,
actually really powerful, and I love that you
right.
said that because when you were talking about it like that, I'm like, "Wait, that is very, very powerful," because you're right. Typically when somebody is cutting out an addiction, they cut it out cold turkey. They take it out of their life completely. But
Nicotine,
how
yeah,
can
like
you do that
whatever.
with food? You definitely have to mend that relationship. You can't just take it out. And that really kind of brings me to the fact that whenever we're afraid of food, it's not because we're weak or because it's, something that is causing us to go back. It's just out of protection. We
Hmm.
don't want to go back and we want to look out for ourselves and we want to make sure that we're still doing the right things, especially because, it can get addicting to be a better person. It can be addicting to want to keep dropping. And it can become hard whenever you step on the scale and you see the number go up or, all of a sudden you start to hear the food noise coming back. Because let's talk about it, right? I didn't know what food noise was until it went away. I didn't know
Hmm.
what people were talking about when they said that there was a thing called food noise. I did not even ever think of it like that. Whenever I, was hearing people talk about food noise, I'm like, That must be nice because I don't even know what the hell they're talking about." I remember the very first time that I actually realized that my food noise was not here. It was almost like my whole life I had spent it with like static in my brain. And for once, it was just quiet. And I was like, wait, I hear it now.
Mhm.
And I also just kind of want to talk to people that maybe are new on their journey and how hard they're being on themselves because they are still hungry. They are still not hearing this food noise, this quote unquote food noise. I was in your shoes. I was in that same position where it had been a month, 2 months, and I still didn't understand what the food noise was. Where is it? Because I don't hear it. And it almost made me feel like maybe I need to stop. Maybe this isn't for me. When I tell you everyone is different, I can only speak for me personally. Taylor can only speak for her personally. But I truly did not start experiencing food noise until maybe 3 to 4 months into my journey. And if I would have given up, I would have never gotten to feel what I'm feeling now. I would have never gotten to truly heal my relationship with food. And so, I just kind of wanted to shout you out if you're starting your journey and you kind of feel like you're broken, like it's not really working for you. It's normal for you to not experience that quietness until you get a little bit more further along.
Yeah. I love that you touched on that because I think a lot of people get into that fear of, oh my God, it's not working. My relationship with food can never be mended, right? They're like, I'm just broken and it's not working. We hear that a lot in our community. And yes, if you're listening, if you're in the early stages of your journey, and even if you're on month 3 and you're still feeling and hearing that food noise, know that you're not broken. You're not alone. Mine also didn't consistently kick in until around month 3.
No, for sure. I think it's also important to talk about because obviously we're talking about food, right? And with food comes the noise, and so I really want to focus really quick on this this phrase, food noise, because I think sometimes, if I'm being real, I think sometimes we get so caught up in other people's food noise
Yes.
that we don't listen to ours. And
Hmm.
sometimes somebody else's food noise might look different from yours. And I hear this often. I hear people say, well, this person says that they get full like with just eating this, or this person gets full with not eating this, or, I'm eating this and this other person doesn't even eat this. And, I'm still hungry. And, I feel like sometimes, again, it's kind of like non-scale victories. I feel like sometimes we're so caught up in other people's life and other people's journey that we just don't really focus on what we have. And it's very common, not even just necessarily with a wellness journey, but I think specifically with food noise, I think a lot of people start to compare their food noise with others. And you forget that it's working. You really just choose to not look at it and say, hey, this is working for me. It just looks different.
Well, I think also that people get like just like it's true. Like so many people, comparison is a thief of joy. People compare the living hell out of themselves to other people. And I think a lot of people also don't truly understand the definition of food noise. Food noise is the idea of your brain going, oh my God, go order an extra large, pizza. And then right after that, we're going to go to Dairy Queen and we're going to order 12 orders of, blizzards. And then we're going to binge this. And then we're going to have chips. It's the constant thinking of food. It's not being satisfied after a meal. Food noise is not if you haven't eaten, it's 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and your brain goes, we could really go for Jimmy John's sub right now. That's not food noise. That's your brain just indicating that you're hungry, right? That is hunger. If you feel your stomach growling, that is your body giving you the cue that you need to eat. Food noise is the addiction to food, having that just constant, I want a chocolate cake. I want to eat 12 pounds of candy. Like having that constant ruminating thought of food. Okay, that is the true definition of food noise. If your body is telling you once or twice a day that, hey, I want a sandwich, I want a slice of pizza, that is normal hunger food cues. Like, I promise you, like, you are okay. And like Liv said, like, just because someone, maybe their food noise, their food suppression, whatever looks different than yours. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you have to understand, like, truly in this journey, what is true. Hunger cues are not going to go away. Like we said in the beginning, like, hunger cues are very, very, very normal.
I think that's beautiful, Liv. I think it was very important for us to touch on that because so often, when I'm on live, when I get it all the time in my comments. I do what I eat in a days, and people come for me. They're like, "You're eating too much." I had somebody
Yes.
tell me the other day, "You're eating cheese on a GLP-1." I'm like, "Dude, it's literally a piece of cheese." And so I just had to touch on that because I'm so done with people being so hard on themselves for
Mhm,
being hungry, and I'm so done with people, going on the internet and making it out to seem like food is bad, when food is fuel. And yes, maybe we have grown up our lives with a bad attachment to food, but it can be mended. It really can. And it's hard. It's not easy. It's something that's very hard. And there's days where I still struggle. I'm not perfect. Taylor's not perfect. I mean, we're sitting on this internet
mm-mm.
and we're telling you guys that we do struggle, and it's normal for you to struggle too. So I'm happy that we touched on that, and I think it's very very important. And I'm proud of us for talking about that.
Yes, I'm actually super proud of this episode. I think that we've really been able to hit on a lot of really good topics and really talk about things that a lot of people don't talk about on GLP-1 journeys. I think we can definitely tie, the end of this episode in and talking a little bit about, what healing actually looks like for us now. Foods used to have such a negative attachment for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about foods that maybe don't anymore.
Yeah,
So I actually a little while ago saw a therapist through Nourish, and this is not sponsored. I'm just saying that's where I saw my therapist at. And I told her that I was like so scared of like ice cream and like pizza and like little silly things like that. Like I just felt like if I had those, that it was like a terrible thing if I were to eat those on my GLP-1. And she was like, "That is literally not the case." She's like, "That's not how food works." She was like, "I want you to learn how to have these foods in moderation." And she told me about food neutrality. She said, if you start to label these foods as bad foods, then you are going to constantly have a negative attachment with these foods. So she actually taught me how to start incorporating these foods in moderation. And now pizza and ice cream and going out to eat with my friends, maybe like salsa and chips and stuff like that, like it isn't, a negative, they don't hold like a negative attachment over me anymore. And that's because I developed something called food neutrality that we talked about a little bit earlier. Or maybe I think it was those like random nerds that popped up on our podcast talked about, but I
yeah.
can't
I think it
remember.
was a nerd. Yeah, definitely a
Yeah, I don't
nerd.
know. Yeah.
No, Liv, I think that's so amazing because I remember whenever we kind of first met, you were like addicted to like the blizzards. You were
Y'all,
addicted to the blizzards,
I
and I
sure
remember
was.
I told you one time, I'm like, "Liv, you can get a mini, right?" And you were
I
like,
was
"Oh, wait,
addicted after that.
you're right, I can get a mini." And I remember you were so hard on yourself because you wanted a mini blizzard, and I was like, "Liv, like, you've been really good this week, like, you can
Yeah.
have a mini blizzard."
Yeah.
And I just think it's so beautiful for you to, like, come to the realization that you're no longer being mean to yourself for eating a blizzard.
Mm-mm.
And I remember because you used to, like, force yourself to not eat the blizzard,
Yeah. I
and it was, like,
was like,
creating such a well, I remember whenever you would go to DQ and you would be in your car and you'd be eating it and you would be so mean to yourself because you had the mini blizzard, and I remember I'd have to be like, "Liv, like, you're fine, like, you're literally gonna be fine." And I'm proud of you for not being scared to eat the
yeah.
damn blizzard.
You're right. A blizzard sounds good.
You're right, a blizzy.
A blizzy sounds good.
I think that's great, Liv. And I think for me personally, I've really found that I'm getting better at the whole punishment thing. Like if I'm going to eat something, I don't have to punish myself for it. I almost caught myself doing that the other day. I was like, you're eating a little bit more than you usually do.
Mm.
I guess tomorrow you're going to have to add another mile. And I was like, Pris, you don't have to link food with punishment. And so I don't know if you ever really caught yourself ever doing that, Liv, but
Yeah.
especially like around the holidays, I think we're all in and don't get me wrong, some people's is different, right? Like some people are like, I'm going to allow myself extra calories or I'm going to allow myself to eat extra things and then I'll just hit harder at the gym or I'll just hit it harder at the gym. But I think it's when it becomes like a punishment. It's like I ate something and now I have to punish my body for it.
Yeah.
I think that's where the negative mindset comes into play. That's something that I have found myself healing from because, when I first started my journey, I would be lying if I didn't say, if I did eat something like a blizzard, I would tell myself like I'd have to work out longer. I'd have to, walk further. I'd have to sit in the sauna longer and it became hard. It became kind of like a chore and it just became not fun. And I
Yeah.
was no longer enjoying it. So that is definitely something that I have been healing. And I know that you have too. Cause I remember, I would catch you saying those kind of things. And I think that's something that we both have really worked on.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that with you. I feel like in the very like beginning of your journey, you'd be like, maybe I'm eating too much. And like, you were like trying to like track your calories and stuff like that. And then you quickly realized that like that wasn't like a thing for you. But you were like, maybe I'm eating like crazy. Like, you'd kind of like get into that mindset. But I've definitely seen like growth in you and like allowing yourself to eat without punishment. And I think that's important for anyone listening is that,
Yeah.
food. is fuel and we need it. And I promise you, you do not want to be on the other end of where like you're not feeling hungry. It's not fun.
Yeah. And before we close off this episode, I would like for you, the listener, to take a minute to give yourself some credit. What difference have you noticed maybe recently or just long term that you have healed with your food? Maybe it could be something small, like eating a blizzard again, or not punishing yourself for eating food, or allowing yourself to get seconds. What have you healed when it comes to food? I think that's important to just, wherever you are, reflect, because I can guarantee you that no matter, if you just started this a week ago, if you started a month ago, a year ago, you have come far. Even if you just started yesterday, you chose to put yourself first. And that right there is something that you should be very proud of.
Yeah, I second everything. I also challenge you to give yourself some credit and say, you know, what have I done so far to heal my relationship with food, right? And if you're listening to this podcast and you've started your wellness journey, and whether that's using a GLP-1 or, you know, doing it whatever way that you find is best, at the end of the day, like that's you starting to heal your relationship with food. And we are very, very proud of you. And I'm also proud of you if you've made it to the end of this episode. This is over an hour-long episode, so you're
Y'all,
putting
y'all
in
been
work
wanting
right
the long
there.
episodes. Y'all been begging for the long episodes. So we said
Yeah.
season 2, y'all, we gonna have a yap fest.
We gonna have a
So
yap fest, but
we gonna have a yap fest.
yeah, like you're putting in work for yourself right now because like we don't just sit on here and talk about like as much as we'd like to. Like we just talk about, you know, why it's 2 degrees out here in Pittsburgh or whatever it may be, but we actually come on here and talk about topics and things that, you know, we work through things together on this podcast. So the fact that you're on here listening to us and you know, we're working through these things together, like I'm proud of you and give yourself credit, you know?
Absolutely. Healing isn't linear. That's something I had to learn from the very beginning, that healing is not going to always be pretty and it's not always going to be consistent. I mean, there's days where you feel like you're not even healing, but you really are. And I will be honest, it's hard because the rough days, the days where it feels like hell, those are actually the days that really are healing you, because you could either sit in that and just let it consume you, or you can get your ass up. And, I started that whole get your ass up thing as a video to myself, but I really do think that it resonated with a lot of people because it really does just start by you getting your ass up. Yeah. So, healing is not a straight shot. There's going to be all sorts of swivels, all sorts of back roads, curveballs, all sorts of shit, but
Mhm.
you're going to get there. You really are going to get there.
Yeah, no, that's so true, Liv. Like there's gonna be dodgeballs, there's gonna be all types of bouncy balls.
You're going to find random ass nerds on the side of the road.
Yeah, you're gonna find random hot nerds, molecule nerds on the side of the road. And you know what? Healing is not linear. That's something that we've said since the beginning. So I love that, Liv. I also wanted to kind of say that you're also allowed to feel safe around food. Food is not the enemy at the end of the day. So please, you know, don't be afraid that your body is telling you that you're hungry. Again, it's a good thing that your body is sending you those hunger cues. You don't want to lose that.
Yes, look at us, liver, an hour long episode.
So
I mean,
yeah.
you guys like it, and we're kind of parched. We need a hydration check right
I think
now.
it's time for our third hydration check of the episode.
Drink your water. I'm not even kidding. Get whatever you're drinking on. Get whatever you're drinking out of and drink right now.
Drinking on.
Drinking on. You know what I'm talking about. I can't speak English. One thing about me, girl, you gonna find out I don't know English very
No
well.
habla inglés.
No habla Taco Bell. Thank you guys so much for listening to us talk. I feel like some days we just come on this podcast with open hearts and, what we're currently struggling with or what we're currently dealing with. And we are just as transparent as we can be in hopes that whoever's listening to an episode or this episode in particular can really just understand and feel that they're not alone. So I just want to thank every single person that has made it to the end of this episode for trusting us with this conversation, because it's not an easy one to have. And it's not an easy one to admit that you are struggling, that you are dealing with it, because a lot of times you feel like you're struggling and that you are broken or that you're not doing it correctly. And I just want to thank you guys for, not only listening to us with open hearts, but allowing us to open our hearts to you guys. And like I said, I just want you to reflect wherever you are. What is something that you're unlearning right now with food? I'm giving you guys some homework. I'm giving you guys some homework today on this episode because I think it's a very important episode to start the year off, especially, as we grow even more this year and we evolve even more, that we push ourselves out of our comfort zone and that we get comfy being uncomfy.
Yeah. I love everything that you said, Liver. I also just want to say thank you guys for dedicating your time every week, or if this is your first time listening to us, whatever it may be, to listening to us and trusting us to have this conversation with you guys. I think it's such a beautiful thing that you guys spend your weeks with us. I wanted to kind of tease like the next coming up episodes. We have some really cool topic ideas. We are diving into, we're like starting over basically, like it's like season 2, and we're kind of like going into topics centrally around GLP1s. I feel like sometimes we kind of just like we'll yap on here, we'll do like check-ins and stuff like that, but we're going to kind of be touching on a few little like kind of controversial topics around GLP1s, and I'm excited. With these topics, we really want you guys to like unlearn maybe some of the things that you've learned that maybe are serving you in the best way, right? And we're going to teach you guys how to relearn yourself, how to relearn your journey, and give you guys some brand new tools. If you remember from one of our first episodes, we talk about building your toolkit. So we're kind of going to putting it in the rotis and building your toolkit. So we're going to dive back into like the old school, and we're going to get like down to like the level 1 basics of like being on a GLP-1 journey. And we're super excited.
And you might see a couple nerds popping in every now and then.
You might see those nerds, those hot molecule sized nerds coming back. I don't know where they came from, but you might see them. Hey, I don't know. I don't know where they came from. But if you guys are listening to this episode, you've made it this far, I'm going to ask you guys again to pretty please subscribe, like, follow us on whatever platform that you were listening to us on. That really does help us. All of the engagement possible helps to send out the podcast and get the podcast on somebody else's page, whatever it may be. So if you could please like, subscribe, you can even turn on the notifications. That would mean the world to us. Give us a follow. We are so appreciative of every single one of you dosies that dedicate your weeks again to us. And yeah, if you would like, subscribe, and follow and turn on the reminders, that would mean the
Ding, ding, ding,
world.
ding. Liv, plug in the Patreon.
Okay. And then also, of course, if you are new here and you're listening, or this is your 20th episode of us saying this, and you're not in the Patreon, what are you doing? We have a Patreon. If you don't know, we have a Patreon, okay? It is called The Dose of Confidence. So what we do on this Patreon is we have a private Discord server that has over 80 people that are all on similar journeys. We are in that Discord daily. We are hosting workouts. Liv and I just did a New Year's Eve workout where we danced to Justin Bieber. It was so fun. It was hilarious. It made us sweat. That girl was not playing around. So we do meal preps together. We do walks together, workouts, clubs. Like, it is literally endless. It is the most fun community ever. We also post the podcast episodes early. You get it a day early. So if you want to listen to us yap, you guys also get your own special Patreon episode monthly.
Yes. And to kind of touch on that, me and Taylor are actually doing a movement with Person Tay starting actually this week when this podcast comes out. So every Thursday, you will catch us doing some sort of movement class, whether it be shaking our asses, going on a little walk, going to do some weights, whatever it might be. The Patreon has truly just become our safe island, our safe little corner on the internet. And we see you guys. We see you because a lot of you guys joined from our last episode. And we're just so happy to have you guys there. So if you're looking for a community to lean on, or if you just want to make new friends this year, go check out the Patreon.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to start the new year, is like building a community, right? Like, don't do it alone. If you've starting your journey, or you're in the middle of your journey, or at the end of your journey and you feel alone, you can definitely find community at The Dose of Confidence. We will have it linked in the description. We'll have it linked in the description.
Yeah.
Or of course, you can find the Patreon links at thedoseofit.com. And if you haven't checked out our website, check out our website. There's some really cool things you can find on there. But we love you guys absolutely so much. Thank you guys for listening to an almost hour and a half long episode. Hello. I actually kind of love it though. Hello. I kind of love it though. So thank you guys so much for spending yet another week with us. I hope that you guys have a beautiful and happy new year. And I'm so excited again that you guys are coming into the new year with us and chose to listen to this episode.
Yay! Liver, I love you. I feel like every Tuesday I get healed just a little bit more. And I hope that, whoever's listening to this takes something away from the episode, big or small, wide or long.
Our
whatever
mics, they take our mics.
Yeah, take the mics, please. We love you guys, and we will see you guys next Tuesday, and have the best rest of your day ever. Bye, dosies!
Bye, dosies!
Damn, bitch. An hour and 30 minutes is crazy.